As for the individual fees, you will take note that some increases are just 20 pesos, 30 pesos, with the exception of this 450. We do not really charge you unnecessarily. Each time we increase a fee, discernment had always preceded it. So that's for 2016 to 2017. We go to 2017, 2018. Again, this was the increase.
Sister Agnes?
Yes.
Sister Agnes, excuse me po. Wala pong nakalabas sa screen.
Sorry.
Pwede pa screen share po, ma'am.
Thank you for the feedback.
Opo, sister.
Akala ko yung screen ko lang ang hindi. Thank you.
So na ano lang, lubat, yun ba? Nangyari.
Lumabas na po ba? Are you seeing it?
Yes po, sister. Yes po.
Okay.
Okay na, sister.
So, we go back to 2016, 17 fees. As you notice, the increase which we requested from you was only 2% up to 8%. For grade 7, there was even a decrease of 3%. For the past 5 years, this has been the situation. In 2017-18, the increases were within the range of 2% up to 7%. Again, on grade 7, there was a decrease of 3%. For the other fees, these are the increases. 8 pesos, 15 pesos, 30 pesos. We decreased the confirmation fees as well as the graduation fees by this amount. Next, 2018-2019, again, the range of the tuition fee increases is just 2% up to 8%. Never have we increased the tuition fees more than by 10%. 2019 and 20, across from pre-kinder up to grade 12, the increase in tuition fees was 7%. It would also be good to note that the 70% of the tuition fee increases goes directly to the increase of salaries of all the personnel. You have also noted how our faculty administration have thoroughly prepared for this online. So even before the COVID, they have been doing their best for the education of your children. So last February, we would just like to review. Earlier, this came out in your minutes, that there was request for a 7% increase in tuition fees. This would have been the tuition fee. Then this is the adjusted tuition fee, and this is the reduction. Even before all your requests for reduction in fees, we have already made the decision that there will be no tuition fee increases. Next slide. This is now the 2020-2021 fees. From what has been uploaded 2 weeks ago, there has been some slight adjustments considering all what you have requested. But for those who have requested that we decrease tuition fees by 25%, I think we really could not afford that. And all other schools did not decrease their tuition fees. All their decreases were only on the school fees and miscellaneous fees. So for the current school year, as mentioned, there will be no tuition fee increase. However, for the school fees, What has been increased is the development fee and the collaborative learning environment, which they have already explained earlier. As to the decreased fees, these are the decreased fees. Some of you have made comments, why do we still charge library, medical, dental, athletic, laboratory? I think you have already heard the explanation from the faculty based on the distant learning activities, which they will have. For the suspended fees, the speech lab, handbook, cultural educational trips, robotics, and locker fees, these are all suspended. They have been removed. So the total decrease, again, I would like to say that the total decrease are only on the miscellaneous and other fees. Tuition fees remain. So the total decrease is 3,000 for kinder and 12,000 for grade 12. Would you like to? Okay, so we'll continue. If you look at all our fees, I think you will also notice that we really try to live out the value of simplicity, which we usually say, attrition is simple. For us, this is really lived out financially also in the way we charge our fees. We live simply and we also practice the spirituality of sapat. We only charge what is enough. We don't charge more than what is needed. So we really find that our fees are reasonable. And if you will still request us to lower this, we will already go under. Right now, for the previous school year, it would also be good for you to know that the unpaid tuition fees was huge. And we never charge any surcharge for installment payments or past due accounts. That is also one way of living our spirituality of being consistent, not to overburden the parents with unnecessary charges. We already know that those who pay on installment are the ones who are having a difficult time. So we don't add to their burden by adding additional charges. So we now go to the final presentation of the fees for kinder up to grade 10. So there is no tuition fee increase. This is still the same as of last year. Then this is now the adjusted fees, and this is the final decrease in the tuition fees. The fees per family is also adjusted because of the publication. The Teresian magazine will only be issued twice. So we also adjusted that. And we did not increase the family fee, family council fee. I don't know if you would still like to increase that. For grades 11 and 12, this is the complete fees, tuition fees, other school fees, and miscellaneous fees. The total decrease in fees for grade 11 is 12,000, and for grade 12 is the same, 12,000. So maybe we will wait for your questions after all the presentations. Just to end, this is our last slide. This is the fee of an exclusive school. School 1, School 2, and this is STC's tuition fees. This is the latest tuition fee for the School 1 and the latest official school fees for the School 2 and STC. If you notice, School 2 has the same tuition fees for kinder and grade 1. Up to, yes. Then grades 4 to 6, they're all the same. Whereas for us, we really try to evaluate per grade level, and we only charge what is necessary. As a school institution, we also have to balance what we ask from the parents, what we give to our personnel, and the sustainability of the institution. So we have to balance your part, what we give to the personnel, because they also work so hard. We pay them well so that they can also produce well, so that the quality education of STC is not compromised. So I think that ends our presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Abayde, meron pa pong ibang presentation or is
Wala na, that is the end.
That's the
That
end.
ends. So
Thank
we
you,
are now ready to
Thank you.
entertain the Sister Ging who just ended the who just had the last
Oh,
presentation.
thank you po. Thank you, Sister Ging. And
Thank you, Sister Ging.
Welcome po.
Thank you, Dr. Abayde and the academic team for
Yeah.
explaining very comprehensively the educational strategies and approach of STC in the new normal, and that the principles of equity, equality, and transformative education together with the VMG of the school is still very much integrated. So I would like now to open the floor for questions. Sister Jo is, Sister Jo?
To add what Mr. King said, that we are concerned about our personnel and what they and to provide for their need, and also to make you aware that every one of our personnel are breadwinners, even the single ones among them. So I think one of our learnings from the pandemic is to be in solidarity. Think of others first before thinking of self. Can we remember that as we look at the whole situation?
Thank you, Sister Jo. So we'd like now to open the floor for questions. Although there are some things in the chat box that were thrown already, but maybe others have not seen the responses in the chat box. So we'd like to reiterate those questions or ask those questions now in the forum. Siguro baka kung hindi pa po kayo nag-stretch, mag-stretch muna kayo, tumayo po muna kayo, baka napagod na po ang inyong mga puwet sa kakaupo. So please allow yourself to stretch a bit po so that maalala po natin na nandito tayo at this moment. Yan po. Okay, so one of the first questions I think is yung availability of the learning materials, but that has already been answered. With regards to, sorry, Miss Camille is raising her hand. Sige po, Miss Camille.
I was wondering how because this presentation is wonderful. Ang galing-galing po. Thank you po. It answers so many questions that we are trying to filter and from the parents, because truthfully from our side out here, we are trying our best to calm the parents down and asking them, begging them to wait for this orientation. Is there a way, if I could suggest that this presentation be maybe shared to the parents before enrollment? Baka po pwede nating ilagay sa STC website or sa Facebook page po. Actually, what you already presented is already very professional. I don't think we have to repeat it. Maybe we can just upload the recording and then maybe announce na, kunyari, kung ma-upload natin by Monday, on Thursday, we can open a forum on Viber or on YouTube Live or somewhere na or dito sa Zoom where we can take questions and answers. Kasi I believe po that this will really answer so many questions from the parents directly towards the questions nila and concerns about the tuition, yung concerns nila about paano kung tatlo ang anak ko, I can only afford one laptop. Yun pala, meron po tayong online and offline methods. So I think if we can share this before enrollment, it will, and it, you know, the parents that are on the fence will be convinced and will decide to indeed continue enrolling their kids in STC.
Dr. Bailey, would you like to respond?
Well, I think that's really very ideal, no? But I'd like to ask the family council if you intend to just put it on YouTube, or you still would like, you know, some kind of a live orientation similar to this. Do you plan it this way, or if you think everything has been covered, you know, comprehensively, and that since it is recorded, and I don't think if it's sufficient enough for the parents, if the YouTube can be just enough, no, be sufficient for them. But we are really, we are ready. In fact, I was thinking of having sana an orientation on June 20 in the morning grade school, in the afternoon high school, but that would be before enrollment. So, but of course, it will be again initiated by the family council, as you would always do in the past, no? So.
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to respond to that. I think that we will still have the parents' orientation. But I don't know if most of, because it's quite comprehensive, some parents might not be able to digest it too much. So we will, if we can, we will upload it first, probably to our, we'll talk about how to upload the recording later on. But of course, will this be amenable for the school? Because I guess if some of the materials are not really for consumption, not for general consumption, ma'am. Like for example, in the fees, no, we can like shorten the presentation so that it's more digestible to the general population.
Yeah.
So we will
the question and answer will still be live.
Doc, wait.
Sige. Doc, si Miss Army muna kasi nauna siya nagtaas ng kamay. Miss Army.
Yes, regarding po dun sa, there's an initial suggestion that for the parents' orientation, maybe we could schedule a series of, I don't know, webinar or YouTube presentation per level. It's more, how would I say it? And to be presented by the school instead of us. Maybe a YouTube, yes, for a wider audience. But still, the suggestion was to present it not as raw, not coming from the school admin. Kasi very, very comprehensive na ang binigay na presentation ng school sa atin. All the questions, inquiries were answered. All the, including tuition and other fees. So, the suggestion to have a parents' orientation is still parang mahalaga. Yun po.
Yeah,
thank you, Miss Army. Doc Joanna.
Yes, regarding the information dissemination, I would like to think that our parents are very diverse. There are parents who would appreciate this kind of presentation. There are parents who are really thinking it very well, that they will appreciate this kind of this kind of information barrage. But there are parents who will be understanding important things to be grasped from the whole SHINE system through pockets of information. So I would like to suggest a multiple approach into how to disseminate this information. I'm sure there are other parents who would like the shortened version, but giving just the shortened version would and invite questions that are probably answered by the presentation that we
the
had
whole
today.
presentation.
Yes, so I think it maybe it's better. Maybe we can think of ways on how to disseminate important information in different ways, so that we reach to different 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 kinds of parents who would like to be informed.
I would,
With regards dun sa YouTube live, or I think the concept being put forward here is the concept of a live chat, I think. So I think it's also one
For the Q&A.
yes. So I think that's also one important approach that we can do, because there are parents now who are who already grasp that that aspect of this digital age, that they like live chats. So if there's a venue for that, like if our school FB page is capable of chat, I don't know po, if someone can someone of authority, of course, meaning not excuse me, sa family council, but I think we need people of authority to explain this. We can mediate, we can help them, we can help our parents, our co-parents understand what is the contents of all this. But I think the information should be really coming from people of authority, because it's more understandable that way, and it's more digestible if it's coming from people of authority. We are merely here, the family council, I think is merely here to like what was said, to provide support and to bridge the gap between our parents and the administration.
Dr. Faith, may I say something?
Yes, Sister Jo.
I agree to the suggestion of Dr. Joanna that you're so diverse. Now, my question is, you have heard and seen the presentation, and you understood it. Now, if the parents in your level have questions pertaining to what was presented, will you not be able to explain that to them? Rather than have us again, why do you they will know that you got that explanation from us because of today's presentation.
Yes.
I think I trust you, and they should trust you that is not coming from you yourself. It comes from what you've received from us. That's your role. And not again to gather those questions, then let us again be the one to tell why. They have chosen you as their delegate to represent them. You have heard us present this to you, and you have understood it and accepted it. They will, like the question of Camille, they have questions. I think you can explain that yourself coming from what you have heard today.
Yes, I agree.
Can explain that. Yeah, sige, Dr. Joanna, ikaw muna.
I don't understand why it should be as again authoritative when you have heard, you have got it from us. You did not get it. You did not get it from the moon. You got it from us.
Yes. Yes. If we will be
to add regarding the tuition fee payments for this school year, unlike before that there is really a fixed amount to be paid upon enrollment, for this year, we know that everybody is having a difficult time, and we also regret that we can only decrease the tuition fees by the amount we have shown you, but we are always considering the situation of the parent. So come enrollment time, they may pay an amount which they can afford, as long as you may always pay in installment within the school year.
With regards to that question, sister, will you allow credit line?
Okay.
Or, yeah.
We have read all your comments and all your suggestions in the past. So earlier you have mentioned about the PayMaya. Right away we got in touch with them. We made an application, and that they have so many requirements, even during this pandemic, during the quarantine period. However, a few days back, he also commented that if we can negotiate with the bank the 2% or 1% increases, and really they will not lower their fees. So we find also that the 2% convenient fee which Paymaya is going to charge is also an added burden to the parents. So we canceled that application. We apologize to inform you that the application has been canceled. Anyway, we have online transfers with 4 banks already. That's BPI, Metro Bank, PS Bank, and Security Bank. For PS Bank, I think they can accommodate other banks at a very minimum fee. So we are already content with that. We are considering your convenience, but at the same time, we also don't want to add burden to those who will be paying, because we will not be able to charge you with that. I hope you understand.
So thank you, sister. Just a follow-up question on that. With the registration, will they be able to see the fees first before they can actually pay the fees?
Yeah, after this presentation with you, I think they will upload this already next week.
Yes. Yes, it's uploaded. It's going to be uploaded. Yeah, we will upload the fees, the ones that we just need to upload, no, the fees in the website. And yes, to answer Doc Faith about whether what comes first, no, it's I have asked that also a number of times. It's because the registrars can only process your enrollment as as something that is official once they get a a payment, whatever it is, as Sister Ging has mentioned, from you. So that's why it has to be done. And then you email the receipt, and then they process the enrollment, and then that already says that your daughter is officially enrolled. That's why it's like that. That's why it starts with the fee. But as Sister Ging has mentioned, since we are in the pandemic era, then for whatever amount that you can afford, no, the parents can afford, the school is going to honor that within the year. So I hope that it's something that is also a relief to parents.
Sister, will you be considering adding monthly payment as an option? Because they've been asking monthly po. Kasi yung options po is annual, semi-annual, and quarterly. Can monthly payment be included as an option?
Yes, for this school year.
Okay, thank you.
So for
Sir Don, acknowledge ko lang si Sir Don po muna.
Yeah, so anyway, I posted yung comments ko no while the whole presentation was going. So medyo mahaba pag ikinat in paste ko doon sa chat, no. So anyway, I have it there. I think one of the things we also need to consider when we face the parents is not only about what are the things the school is going to do, no. What is the implications to the parents, no? So for example, distance learning is not really just a change in the mode of learning. There's a lot of things and responsibilities parents need to do regarding that, no. So ensuring that you have a proper conducive space for learning, ensuring you have the proper tools for your children to do the learning. I mean, there's some implications to them, no? So this is not just a matter of looking at online learning, no? There is a lot of challenges and tasks that parents need to do.
Yeah, of course.
The second aspect is that with regards to the tuition fee, the parents need to understand that this is not just about the usual expenses that the school goes through, no? There are additional expenses that are incurred on online learning facilities, systems, and so forth, no? And that's a cost that did not exist before in a traditional learning mode, no? And then third, I think is as was mentioned, tuition has been really focused primarily on on paying for teachers' salaries and so on, no? Which I think needs to be upheld, no? Because the content that they develop, the content that they need to do with regards to learning did not change. It's just the mode that was changed, no?
Yeah.
The method of how it is delivered that was changed, but the effort needs to be done there still remains the same. Actually, I would think it is even harder, because usually before, when you prepare presentation, just you teach in class and so on. Now you will have to translate all of this into an effort where you need to put it in a more structured way, conducive to a distance learning scenario, no?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of effort that is actually done, or
In fact.
putting a burden
Yeah.
on the teachers on doing this. So I think that's one of the points that we need to tell our parents. No, there is a lot of effort that teachers need to go through with this scenario, and reducing their salaries is just not fair.
Well, thank you for recognizing that,
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Sacamos. Thank you
Yes,
for really
yes,
recognizing that.
yes,
I must say that the
Yeah.
work that the teachers are doing now, no, it's really very much, I mean, I'm not saying that they're different, but there's really an add-on to it. Just doing online and offline, even the assessments, they are not in the consultation time. I thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate.
I also would like to thank very much Dawn for that very, very supportive intervention, both for the distance learning and for the fees and for the support that the school needs for the faculty and for the development of any infrastructure that we need to develop. And for the distance learning, everybody's learning all over the world, not only we. So we have the how to ensure that is a partnership between you and us. Thank you very much, Don.
Yeah, so maybe to that, kakamustahin ko na lang yung school, no? How are you in terms of getting ready for that, no? Kasi that's also my concern, no? Are you ready for it? What are the challenges that you have to be ready for it? Kasi I know this is all new to us, no?
Yeah.
Of course, being as a parent, I'm also concerned about the institution. We understand, but are we ready, no? Kasi I can only see on the parent side, I myself are asking my question, what are the things I need to be ready for? And I mentioned some of it, no? I need to make sure that I have a place where my children do not, focus on learning instead of sleeping on the bed. How do I make sure that my two children, in this case I have 3 children, 2 daughters, are not going to be interfering with each other as they go focus on their own respective distance learning, no? So there's a lot of learning that clearly we need to do, no, in the family council, maybe to discuss with the parents. There's a lot of things we need to do on our side. But other than that, we also want to know, no, how is STC now dealing with, these new changes and learning? Are you able to be up to speed, no, coming in this school year?
Yes, Mr. Sakamos, that is one of the things that we are really, considering, and we have really been discussing this with our IT, how we can improve further our bandwidth so that we can really accommodate all of these things that DL requires. So, as what Sister Joan said, no, everybody is really, new to this, but we are doing our part. We are really what we are using this time from June, July to further see how else we can improve on the delivery of our learning.
I think the presentation this morning from the academic administrators has shown that we have a great amount of readiness. They've been preparing even before the pandemic for our own use. And then the pandemic came about. So all the more that intensified. The training goes on and the development of materials goes on. On that aspect, we are ready. Now what has to be prepared on the other side still has to be done.
I agree. Actually, that's the same question I have with the parents. Now, are we ready? Because I'm scared myself, no? There's a lot of things need to be prepared on our side. And I think this is where really, I think family council will need to lead, no, in terms of talking with the parents. So let's deal with our side of the parenthood, no, in this, because there's a lot of going to be changes that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And and also before, we've always been focused on really when you drop off your children in STC, It's kind of like the daycare for the day, right? And then you just pick them up, confident they're safe. But now, when you leave them at home and you go to work, how are you going to ensure that they are on track on the schedules in their calendar, and making sure they're focused on their studies, and making sure they make use of the proper time for the breaks?
Yes.
So that's a big question that we need to also deal with. Because
that is taken care of, Mr. Sakamos. We thought about it, how our teachers can, by the hour, are able to, you know, track what the students are doing. So that's part of the structure that we are really considering. We want our students to be productive. We want our students to finish the work that they're supposed to do for the day, and we want them to be able to submit whatever it is that is required of them. That is part of the structure.
Yeah, I saw that, and I appreciate that, Dr. Bylen. I'm more concerned about what the role of the parent will be here.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. So
Dr. Bylen, may I add more?
one thing is saying, "Oh, I'm present," but actually inside they're doing something else. No? So that's kind of like our dilemma, no, as parents. But anyway, we'll need to deal
But
with that.
we'll help you on that, because our counselors also prepare something to really help the students to be self-directed and to really be very, to observe academic honesty and being on their own, being responsible learners. That's part of the program of the guidance counselors.
And then lastly, I saw that there are certain opportunities of break during the class session, no? Maybe we also kind of like give an opportunity for classmates to actually socialize during those periods. Because even though we are in a distance learning, we should not take away socialization of our children. No? They still should be able to talk about, what they did in class an hour before. It's like still being able to achieve that, still being humans, interacting with people. It's just that we are distanced.
Yes.
That's all.
I think teachers will also provide activities where they can be collaborating as a group, no, 1 or 2 or 3. I think there's a provision for that. So it's not always an individual work also. So there's where social communication can also take place.
Okay, thank you.
Doc, may I add something?
Yes.
To address the concern of Mr. Sakamos regarding what their children are doing while they're online, CLE also takes care of that, because when they are logged in, it can be monitored by the system. And our IFs will give us a daily feedback on the activities of your children when they use the learning platform. So that's, of course, for online learners. And what's the other concern, sir? the last concern that you mentioned?
About the socialization. No?
There will also be opportunities for that, because in our modules, we actually have interactive discussion, and they actually get to discuss with one another, whether it is through live chat or through other synchronous means. And even among themselves, they can do that even without the teacher present. They can begin a discussion in forum or in chat. So that's a safe space, and I think you'll be very comfortable with that. Thank you, Pa.
But for the offline.
Ms. Castro was about to add something. Ms.
Yes,
Castro.
and may I add that actually all teachers and personnel of STC will be reporting back to school, hopefully in July, and then onwards to August. No, in other words, instruction. Of course, that is presuming that the situation is okay for us to report. No, that means that instruction, as far as teachers are concerned, will be delivered or done in school. Except when teachers are sick, they can even do that at home. Okay? In school, we have already devised ways by which we will observe social distancing, even in the faculty room, or, for example, in the high school, we have already planned on assigning different rooms to different subject areas, and these rooms will have good connectivity, so they can implement instruction, whether asynchronous or synchronous. Definitely our computer laboratories, which have very good connection, okay, will be the venue for which teachers will deliver their synchronous teaching. Okay, so in that way also, consultations, follow-ups would be facilitated by the teachers. Is STC ready? Yes, STC is ready. We're ready with modules, we're ready with schedules, we're ready with guidelines, health and safety guidelines, we're ready how to do social distancing. We are upgrading our technology, CLE, and probably the other apps. We're ready. In fact, we have already scheduled our pre-service. Just for your information, nag-uumpisa na po kami sa aming pre-service. June, July, even April pa, nag-uumpisa na kami ng pre-service. But we have actually structured schedule of activities to all our teachers and personnel starting June and July. We call that pre-service. So that hopefully that in July, when we all report back to school, we will further strengthen all our activities, implement all our activities, continue our preparation for DL. We have actually demonstrations. We have top champion teachers to do demonstration, both synchronous class and asynchronous class. Our webinars with Phoenix and other organizations are ongoing. Next week, meron po kaming webinars, school leaders and teachers. So is STC ready? Yes, we are ready. STC is ready. Thank you.
So I'll just, thank you, Ms. Owen. Just open the floor for last two questions before we close the Q&A session. Any other last questions?
Yeah,
from
there's a question raised by Dr. Pascual. She's asking, in terms of collaborative work among students, will it be facilitated positively if the students retain their sections as in last year? Are you referring to our practice of resectioning, Dr.
Yes.
Pascual? All right.
Yes,
okay.
yes po.
Okay, I think we are not changing that practice. We will still follow that because we foresee that probably in the future we will have to, hopefully, I do not know. I don't know if this will be the new normal, but there's still a value to the students being able to have other sets of students with them. So that's part of the practice, and so we are not now. Even if we reshuffle them now, if they are due for resectioning, still they are not together now because they will be on their respective homes. But as we have mentioned earlier, there will always be provision for that. I mean, somewhere, sometime, there can be a recollection or whatever, which can be online if it is not possible for them. So still, they will be part of that group. So I hope that. That practice of ours, we see the wisdom of that practice of ours, so we are not changing that. I mean that thing of keeping the section until they graduate. I mean, for now, we still keep it.
Thank you po for that answer.
Yes.
Actually, that was a concern that was forwarded in my grade level because medyo bata po yun sa amin, grade 2 kami last year. But I tried to explain that I trust that the STC system has a measure for the holistic development of the child. But I don't know how else I can I can illustrate to the some of the parents who have forwarded that concern. It's more of like they think they are the ones going to adjust the parents themselves. But I explained it in the way that as how you have put it, ma'am, Doctora, that the students will be learning how to familiarize themselves with their new classmates this year. And so yes, I agree with you po. It's something that's part of the holistic learning of the child.
Correct. Yes.
I would like to, may I?
Yes, sister.
Okay. I would like to reply to the question of Army. Army, regarding back accounts, as early as April, even if the offices were closed, some parents who have back accounts were really reaching out to us. So they have written through the accounting email and they have inquired about their bank accounts. Some were told to prepare promissory notes because Sister Joe cannot yet go to the office, and we have been replying to them. So we're just, we would like to rely on their sincerity that they are going to settle their accounts even on installment basis. Yes, they may enroll.
Thank you po, sister. Thank you.
So, last question na kay kay Camille. Yeah.
Si Miss Monica po. Miss Monica.
Okay.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank those who presented. It really validated my trust in the school. Ang advantage ko po siguro, because I am a Teresian and I am a mother of 2 graduates already, naranasan ko yung different changes that STC went through. So I am very comfortable na STC will be up to the change. In the past po kasi, yun yung naging strength ng STC. They are very good at planning and they are very good at execution whenever there are changes. So nagkaroon po tayo ng integration in the past between kinder and prep. And yun, may mga anxiety of parents, merong mga questions, but STC really rolled out that program very well. Nagkaroon po tayo ng change to K-12. Again, yung parents may anxiety, again, may questions, problems. But then STC went through the same process of communication, same process of looking at what can be done by parents, the students, the school. And I think because of the clarity ng presentation, yung mga anxiety ng parents medyo nabawasan, especially nung nakita nila yung first month or 2 months that talaga namang yung parents and then yung teachers have that collaboration. So I think in terms of preparation, STC is very good at that. And in terms of execution, I trust that they will execute as in the past na mga programs. Ang isa kong question, sister, I would like to ask yung status ng mga manongs and manangs, will we reduce their employment because of the situation?
No. First of all, Monica, I'd like to thank you for that very, very supportive statement, and you have been a member of several boards. And so what you say is very authentic and very valid. Thank you very, very much. Now, regarding our manongs and manangs, as much as possible, we don't want to retrench anybody. So you have to motivate that we will get the enrollment we need to be able to provide the salary that we can give to all of them so they can support their families. That will depend on the number of enrollees that we will get from all the parents like you. So we are counting on you to motivate the parents to bring their children to us, so we will not have to retrench anybody. And we can all provide for them, for a living wage for them and their families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Faye?
Yes, Miss.
May I just respond to question from Miss Hazel regarding a trial class. In our pre-service schedule, we have already scheduled demo lessons. We will try to find out how we can possibly involve students who can be part of that demo. We will see, no? But initially we planned it for the teachers first. And then later on, be involving our students. But initially, our high school MAPE classes had tried it with our TSC officers, and they had demo classes using synchronous, and we involved students that way. So we have a little practice involving students, but it's not on a big scale yet. We're inviting them a few at a time, and then probably in one of demo classes, that's probably when we can always try. Regarding also the question of whether they are going to where uniforms, particularly in the high school and I think also in the grade school. When they conduct PE classes, they should be in their PE uniform, because when they do a demo, they should be in their comfortable attire. But they need not buy. If there are uniforms that they already have, then they can just use them. Thank you po.
Okay, there's a question here about letter grade, no? I think you heard earlier that that is really the direction that we are moving to, no? Even DepEd does not come out with any guidelines on grading and whatever, no? So but since, as I said, there are the distance learning is not the traditional thing that we are doing, that we used to do, then I think even the practice of grading, even the practice of assessment should also be aligned with the new normal that we have. So we are this still, as I said, a work in progress, but yes, we will be for now moving into a descriptive letter grade as kind of grading. But I'd like to let you know that this is not as easy as that. It requires training for our teachers, but our teachers are used to that with authentic assessments, with rubrics. They are very, very used to this. So it's just a matter of giving them a little more, training about this one, and really making them more see the value of this criterion-based performance assessment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. May I say something? I mean, as a whole, there will be an entire transformation of life and ways of doing after the pandemic. That is our realization in all the accreditation, in all the groups I have met, even for accreditation, that has to change the way we do it, even the way we rate. So we just be convinced that the new normal means we're going to live life differently from the way we have been doing. So we will not look for the usual things. We'll have to face what is there and what is new. We have to, it is a change of mindset. So my dear parents, will you please pray and reflect more? There's a need to transform our mindset. Otherwise, we will not be able to live through the new normal, as we are calling. If we keep an old mindset, then we belong to the old normal. I think we will be extinct from the world where we are.
There's a question here from Miss Godoy. Yeah, I think, okay, we will try to